My beloved child, this is not a test designed to disqualify you, but a moment in which I want you to recognize whether your heart is truly ready to receive what is good with peace, maturity, and wisdom. I, Michael, have not come to place a countdown clock before you, nor to tell you that a few seconds of hesitation will cause every blessing to disappear. The love of heaven is not so fragile that it will be withdrawn simply because you need time to think. Yet I want you to pause, breathe slowly, and look honestly within yourself. How many times has an opportunity appeared, only for you to step back because you were afraid of disappointment, whenever something good draws near? Do you immediately search for a reason to doubt it, because your past taught you that hope is often followed by pain? Today, what needs to be challenged is not heaven's faithfulness toward you, but your habit of closing the door to what is good, simply because you are not accustomed to receiving. I know you have waited a long time for change in your finances, work, and personal life. You longed for a door to open so that the pressure upon your shoulders might become lighter, so that you could care for the people you love, complete unfinished plans, and live without continually worrying about tomorrow. There were times when you prayed silently and did everything you could, yet the result still did not arrive as you hoped. That delay caused you to begin believing that perhaps good things were not meant for you. But my child, lack during one season is not your identity. One difficult chapter does not have the authority to write your entire future. I am teaching you that true prosperity does not begin with a mysterious check falling from the sky, but when you learn to manage what you already have, build your abilities, make wise decisions, and stop allowing fear to direct every step. A door that has remained closed for a long time may truly be beginning to move. But before it opens, you need to prepare so that you do not carry old habits into a new space. If you once spent money to fill emotional emptiness, you need to learn restraint. If you gave your money, time, and effort to people who only took advantage of your kindness, you need to establish clear boundaries. If you rejected healthy opportunities because you felt you were not capable enough, begin looking at your abilities more fairly. A blessing is not only something you receive, it is also a responsibility you must know how to preserve. Something greater will not bring peace if your mind remains chaotic, and greater resources may become another burden if you have not learned how to use them for the right purpose. Do not assume that hesitation is always a sign of weakness. There are times when pausing to verify is wisdom. I do not want you to rush into an offer merely because someone promises wealth, pressures you to act immediately, or claims that the opportunity will disappear unless you respond at once. What is genuine can withstand examination. A good opportunity does not need to use fear to force you to open your wallet, reveal private information, or make an unwise decision. I want you to distinguish between fear that causes you to miss something good and caution that protects you from deception. Fear says you are not worthy enough, that you will certainly fail, and that it is better not to try. Wisdom asks whether the information is clear, whether the person making the offer is trustworthy, whether the terms are fair, and whether the decision aligns with the good values you are pursuing. The check of prosperity you have been waiting for can be understood as a symbol of a harvest season drawing near. But do not limit wealth to a number. Some people possess great amounts of money and still live in anxiety because they have not learned inner contentment. Others have less, yet they know how to use what they possess to build a steady, compassionate, and meaningful life. I desire prosperity for you, but it must bring freedom rather than make you a servant of greed. It should help you fulfill responsibilities, heal areas of lack, create what is good, and support others with wisdom. If resources come and you use them only to prove your worth, chase admiration, or take revenge upon those who once looked down on you, you will quickly discover that money cannot heal a heart still ruled by the past. The walls around you were not built in a single day. They were formed through betrayal, broken plans, financial losses, and promises that never became reality. Therefore, I do not condemn you for being cautious with hope. I understand why you often view a good opportunity with suspicion, but the wall that once protected you from pain may now prevent you from seeing the new road. I am not asking you to tear it all down in a moment. Remove it stone by stone through small choices. Learn a new skill. Complete an application. Send a proposal. Begin saving. Seek advice from someone experienced. Or stop delaying a project you have always known you were capable of pursuing. Every orderly step creates more room for something new to enter. You also need to be careful with people who continually weaken your confidence. Not everyone who asks questions is against you. Sometimes they are helping you see a risk you overlooked. But there are people who only know how to sow doubt, mock every dream, and bring up old mistakes whenever you try to move forward. You do not need to hate them, but you do need to limit their influence over your decisions. Do not expose fragile plans to those who only know how to trample seeds. Seek people who encourage you while remaining honest enough to show you what needs improvement. Genuine support does not flatter blindly. It helps you become steadier, more responsible, and more aware of what you are entering. I want you to accept risk, but not blind risk. Courage is not jumping from a cliff and hoping that wings will appear. Courage is studying the road, preparing your abilities, recognizing your limitations, and still moving forward even when every result cannot be guaranteed. You can feel afraid and still act. You can remain uncertain and still make a reasonable choice. What I want to remove from you is the kind of fear that keeps you motionless forever, not the caution that protects what you have built. Remember that not every open door belongs to you, but neither should you close every door merely because an old one once caused you pain. If your life is about to change, that change must begin with the way you treat yourself. Stop calling yourself someone who is always unlucky. Stop repeating the story that you have no opportunities, no support, or that it is too late to begin. What you endured was real, but it is not a prophecy that must be repeated. Beginning today, speak to yourself with kindness and responsibility. You do not need to pretend that everything is perfect, but you can acknowledge that you still have the ability to learn, change, and rebuild. When you stop using the past as evidence against the future, a new strength will be released in every decision. My beloved child, heaven is not watching you in order to find a reason to declare you unworthy. I am looking at you with hope that you will stop turning away from the potential you have been given. Readiness is not proven by reacting within 10 seconds, but by remaining faithful through many days, months, and seasons. Keep your heart open, but your eyes clear. Believe that something good can come, while preparing your hands to work when it appears. Receive support, but remain responsible for your choices. Look forward to abundance, But do not allow greed to obscure your purpose. The check you need to receive today is first of all the affirmation that you are allowed to step out of a mindset of scarcity, allowed to hope again, and allowed to build a better life through maturity. No one can take that from you because of one moment of hesitation. What can keep it from becoming real is never acting, never learning, and never believing that you can live differently. Therefore, rise in peace. Take the specific step that is before you. Complete what remains unfinished. Open yourself to a verifiable opportunity and abandon the habit of destroying good things before they have time to grow. I am beside you, not holding a clock to pressure you, but holding a light to guide you. When you walk with wisdom, courage, and integrity, what is meant for you will not only arrive, it can remain, grow, and become a blessing to many around you. My beloved child, after everything you have endured, you are now allowed to enter a kind of rest completely different from every pause you have known before. This is not a moment when your body sits still while everything within remains tense. It is not another night when your eyes are closed while your mind listens for every sound. Nor is it the temporary lowering of your weapons while waiting for the next battle to begin. I am leading you into a deeper rest, where you can breathe out without immediately preparing to inhale in fear. Something very deep within you is gradually understanding that what once pursued you has stopped, that the door of the old season has closed, and that you no longer need to turn around to check whether that darkness is still following you. This is not a delay, nor is it the silence before pain returns. This is the ending of a battle that lasted far too long. This does not mean that you will never again face difficulties. Life will still bring days that make you tired, choices that require courage, and unexpected wins that test the foundation you are building. But I want you to distinguish between the ordinary challenges of the journey and the particular battle that once tried to make you forget who you were. There was a time when you were not only facing difficult circumstances, you were also fighting the belief that you no longer had value. What happened tried to erode your confidence, make you distrust the voice within, and convince you that you had to live forever in a defensive posture. You became accustomed to waking up prepared for another blow, anticipating betrayal, and viewing joy with suspicion. But today, I tell you that the battle has lost its authority. It may still have left memories, but it no longer holds the key to your future. You did not escape that season through luck alone. You persevered longer than the things that tried to break you. There were days when you thought you were merely surviving, but in those very days your endurance was being refined. Every time you rose after crying through the night, every time you chose not to retaliate, even though you had every reason, and every time you remained upright when compromise seemed easier, you were quietly weakening the power of what once held you captive. You did not recognize it immediately because true victory often unfolds slowly. It does not always arrive through a loud explosion or one dramatic moment in which everything changes. Sometimes it arrives when you realize that a person's name no longer makes your heart tighten, when a memory can no longer ruin your entire day, or when you understand that you do not need someone else's apology in order to continue. For this reason, this moment carries greater meaning than an ordinary turning of the page. You are not merely entering a new chapter. You are moving into a season in which what you have quietly become will begin to be seen. I saw you before anyone else recognized the change. I saw you remain with the truth during days when no one stood beside you. I saw you continue doing what was right when there was no applause, no affirmation, and no guarantee that your effort would produce a result. At times, you looked around and believed your faithfulness was useless because those who took shortcuts seemed to move ahead faster. But my beloved child, what is built through integrity may take longer, yet it creates a foundation that hurried success can never possess. I know you wondered why you worked so hard and still received no recognition. You watched others being called, chosen, and given opportunities while you remained behind a door waiting. At times, you began to believe that remaining unseen meant you had been forgotten. But not every delay is rejection. There were moments when I kept you in the shade so that your roots could grow deeper before your branches became visible. If recognition had come too early, you might have used it to fill emptiness that only love and maturity could heal. Praise might have made you dependent, while criticism could have caused you to collapse. But today, you are learning to stand, whether the crowd calls your name or not. Therefore, the recognition that is coming will no longer rule you. It will merely confirm what you already know deep within. When others begin to see your value, do not believe that you have only just become worthy. You are not more valuable because a door opens, someone chooses you, or an achievement is finally recognized. The truth about you existed during the days when no one saw it. What is changing is not your nature, but the timing that is beginning to align with what you have quietly lived. People may call it sudden success, but I know how many nights it was built upon. They may see only the result, but I saw the process. They see your calmness today, while I remember the days when you fought within yourself not to react from pain. Therefore, when the door opens, enter with gratitude, not with the need to prove yourself. This new rest also requires you to learn something that was once very difficult. Do not create war after peace has arrived. When someone has lived in chaos for a long time, stillness can feel unsafe. You may begin searching for danger during good days, wondering what is about to happen or why everything suddenly feels too light. You may unconsciously return to old connections, reopen stories that have already ended, or create pressure simply because busyness feels more familiar than rest. But, my beloved child, you do not need to carry the old battlefield into the new land. Allow peace to be peace. Do not destroy a good day merely because you are not accustomed to living without conflict. Give your nervous system, mind, and heart time to learn that safety is not a trap. You will need to be gentle with yourself throughout that process. Some days your body may still respond as though danger is near. A word, a sound, or a situation similar to the past may unsettle you for a moment. Do not conclude that you have made no progress. Healing does not erase memory overnight. It changes the power memory has over the present. You can remember without being dragged backward. You can feel sadness without losing yourself. An old wound may be touched, yet you can still choose to respond with maturity. Every time you return to peace more quickly and recognize that you are no longer as trapped as before, it is evidence that authority has changed hands. I also want you to prepare for recognition through humility. When others begin approaching you, do not use your achievements to take revenge upon those who once dismissed you. Do not turn your new position into a place where you prove they were wrong. You do not need to return before anyone and display what I have done. True light does not need to shout about itself. It only needs to be present. Let the way you live answer the old accusations. Let your peace respond to those who believed you would never rise again. The most precious victory is not making them regret what they did, but no longer needing their regret in order to feel that you have won. The coming season will not only bring outward recognition, it will also require you to recognize yourself more fairly. You have become so accustomed to focusing on your shortcomings that you have forgotten how much you have overcome. Look back, not to live in the past, but to understand the strength now present within you. You are no longer as easily led off course by one remark. You no longer need to explain everything in order to feel at peace. You have learned what deserves your time, what needs to be left behind, and who no longer has the right to enter deeply into your life. That maturity is part of your victory, even though it cannot be measured through money or praise. Therefore, allow yourself to rest without guilt. You are not lazy when you stop after a season of battle. You are not weak when you choose enough sleep, fewer words, distance from arguments, and time in places that restore you. Rest does not deny your courage. It proves that you no longer need to demonstrate strength through exhaustion. The days of continually forcing yourself have completed their purpose. Now, I want you to learn how to live without needing pain in order to feel that your life has meaning. You are allowed to feel joy without waiting for something bad to follow. You are allowed to receive what is good without asking what pain you will have to pay in return. My beloved child, the battle has ended in the most important way. It no longer decides who you are. The past may explain part of your journey, but it no longer writes your destiny. What once pursued you can now remain only behind you. Because you have passed through a door, it has no right to enter. Lift your head and walk slowly. You do not need to run. Look back, or prove that you have overcome. Simply continue living in the truth you have preserved for so long. Recognition will come at the right time. But even before it appears, I want you to know that you have already been seen. You remained. You refused to allow pain to turn you into what you once resisted. Now you are allowed to breathe deeply, lay the burden down, and enter a season in which peace is no longer a rare moment, but the new foundation of the way you live. My beloved child, in a world that continually pressures you to move faster, speak more, and prove yourself without rest, I am calling you back into stillness so that you can preserve the strength that the noise around you has tried to steal. Every day, you hear countless demands to respond immediately. Defend your image, reclaim your rightness, and never allow anyone to misunderstand you. It seems that everyone is running, speaking, and competing to be seen, until peace itself becomes unfamiliar. Even those who appear successful, powerful, and confident may be hiding a deep weariness no one recognizes. They smile before the crowd, but return to their private room, exhausted. Because no heart was created to live forever at the pace of tension. I know you also tried to follow that rhythm. You responded quickly because you feared silence would be interpreted as weakness. You explained yourself because you feared others would tell your story incorrectly. You entered conversations before you were ready because you believed that if you delayed, you would lose the opportunity to make everything clear. But in the end, you discovered that the more you tried to control, the more tired you became. The more you spoke, the more misunderstood you felt. The faster you ran, the farther you moved from the calm voice within. That is why I am teaching you that not every movement is progress, and not every silence is stagnation. Some people run a great distance while remaining trapped in the same cycle. Others remain still for a time while something within them is being repaired, strengthened, and prepared for a more mature step. You need to distinguish clearly between being trapped and being held still for a good purpose. When you are trapped, you feel your strength decreasing, your hope shrinking, and every day resembling a room without a door. But when you are being held still, even though you cannot yet see the road, you sense that something steady is being built within you. This slowing down does not make you small. It helps you recover your breath and see what was once hidden by impatience. There are times when I do not allow you to move immediately. Not because I have rejected you, but because you need protection, but a decision born from pain. Some doors have not yet opened because I want you to understand who you are before entering a place where others may try to define you. I have seen you write a long message and then delete it. You arranged every sentence in your mind that you would say if you ever faced the person who wounded you. You imagined how they would respond, how you would answer, and how you would finally make them understand the truth. At times, you nearly reached for the phone to call again, only to explain one more time and remind them that you were not the person they believed you to be. But just before acting, something slowed you down, like a gentle hand resting upon your shoulder and saying, "Not yet." You did not understand why you stopped, but that pause protected you from creating another knot in something that was already too complicated. Do not underestimate that restraint. Some conversations, if they occur while you are full of pain, will turn truth into a battle. Some words may be right, but when spoken at the wrong time, they can still create unnecessary wounds. I do not want you to remain silent because of fear, but neither do I want you to speak merely to soothe the feeling of being offended. Let your words be born from calmness, not from the need to win. Speak when your words can clarify, heal, or protect, rather than when you only want another person to feel the pain you once felt. This pause may cause you to wonder whether you are becoming too passive. You fear that if you do not react, others will assume they were right. You worry that silence will allow those who harmed you to continue living as though nothing happened. But my child, justice does not depend entirely upon your speaking in every moment. You do not need to participate in every argument. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding immediately. Some people can recognize truth only when the consequences of their own actions begin to appear. If you intervene too quickly, you may unintentionally postpone the lesson they need to face for themselves. What you call hesitation may actually be discernment growing within you. Discernment does not always arrive as a great answer. Often, it is simply the feeling that you should wait another night before sending what you wrote. It is choosing to step outside and breathe instead of continuing an argument. It is recognizing that your mind is too tired to make a wise decision. I want you to trust those healthy pauses. When peace leaves you, slow down. When the words in your mind become bitter, stop. When you want to act only to prove that you have the right, ask whether the action will truly bring you closer to freedom or merely pull you back into the old cycle. Waiting is not the condition of someone who does not know what to do. It is the choice of someone mature enough not to force what has not yet reached its time. You became accustomed to believing that constant action was necessary to prove that you had faith, strength, and purpose. But there are seasons when the most courageous action is refusing to touch what I am handling. There are times when you must allow a relationship to reveal its nature without trying to repair it. Some situations need to be observed over time rather than judged within a single day. Patience does not cause you to lose control. It helps you stop trying to control what was never your responsibility. I know it is difficult when you see other people apparently doing well after what they caused. You wonder how they can continue smiling while you needed months to heal. You see them moving forward and think that your silence allowed them to escape the consequences. But, my beloved child, do not measure justice by what your eyes can see in one brief moment. Some consequences are not displayed before a crowd. Some emptiness is hidden behind laughter. Some lessons come late, yet reach deeper than any accusation you could make. You do not need to become the one who carries out every form of justice. Your part is to remain upright. Learn what must be learned, and refuse to allow what others did to turn you bitter. The calmness you are learning does not mean you will remain silent forever. The right day will come, and if necessary, you will speak with a different voice than before. You will not speak to beg for understanding, but to clarify your boundaries. You will not speak through tears of desperation, but with the steadiness of someone who knows their worth. You will not try to force anyone to confess wrongdoing, but you will be honest about what you can and cannot continue to accept. Your words will be fewer but carry greater weight because they will no longer be mixed with panic, pride, or the need for approval. For now, allow stillness to complete its work. Let your mind rest from imaginary conversations. Stop rehearsing what you will say if someone returns. Stop checking whether they have finally recognized your value. Every time you spend too much energy guessing what another person thinks, you take away energy needed to build your own life. Return to what is already in your hands: your health, work, sleep, healthy relationships, and the responsibilities you have delayed. Peace is not only a feeling, it is the order you create through small choices each day. If you still do not know whether to speak or remain silent, ask, what is guiding you? If you want to speak because you fear being forgotten, wait. If you want to speak in order to shame someone, wait. If you want to speak because you have considered everything carefully, possess a clear purpose, and are prepared to accept every outcome. Perhaps the time is drawing near. I am not forbidding you from speaking. I only want you not to give important words to a moment without calmness. What comes from purity does not need to shout. Truth spoken at the proper time can remain gentle and still be powerful. Therefore, trust this quietness. Do not immediately call it delay. And do not condemn yourself because you have not done what others expected. Perhaps today's slowness is saving you from a long-lasting consequence. Perhaps not sending that message is evidence that you have matured. Perhaps the silence that others mistake for weakness is the place where I am building authority within you. Continue preserving peace in your heart, because you do not need to follow the pace of the world in order to prove that you are progressing. When you walk according to wisdom, even standing still can become a very great step forward.